Now, what you're going to hear tonight is another recording of another call. This call took place on December 8th, 2011. It was a RUSA roundtable call. Unlike the first one that you heard a few weeks ago, this one has been cut down to the relevant part of it, which is simply Turner speaking. And the rest of it was irrelevant at the beginning of the call, and there's a lot that goes on after that is irrelevant to this subject as well. So for the interest of not taking up the entire radio show, I did cut just that portion where Turner was on the call. And before you listen to it, it's important to understand some facts and details to date. Many of you listening were at one time involved with this government entrapment plan, but some of you have never heard of it as well. And I won't go into all the history of this disastrous Homeland Security plan to identify all the active patriots who would pose the plan is to identify all active patriots who would pose any resistance to New World Order plans to collapse this nation and to round them up for incarceration at an undisclosed time. Suffice it to say, this organization is led by a man calling himself James Timothy Turner, which is an alias. That name is actually his brother's name. I do not know if that brother is living or dead. I will know shortly. But Turner's real name is John. I don't have the middle name yet, but it is John. I have in my possession evidence which will expose the entire deception from its inception, when it was called the Restore America Plan. Mr. Turner was deeply involved in the trap from the beginning, and the plan was never intended to succeed in saving this nation. Indeed, it was and is intended to bring down and render unto Caesar that which Caesar thinks is his, and to eliminate as many patriotic Americans as possible at the same time. Many of the people left in RUSA are innocent and really do think what they're doing is lawful and will actually put them in charge of this country. While that idea is indeed idiotic at best, they do believe it, and it's not their fault they've been used. I hold no animosity whatsoever for the innocent people who have been duped into this trap.
No, and it's because of those innocent people, Terry, that I've allowed this platform for this information to get out. If we can protect even one, then at least our job has been done.
Exactly right. And that is why I have stayed the course since I left and the whole state of Georgia left over a year ago to expose everything I could find. And I have never stopped investigating, and I will not stop until it's over. When you listen to the recording, you'll hear a professional con man twist the facts and manipulate the perception of his followers to support an illegal and unlawful action taken in response to the state of Texas and a lawful demand made by those good folks in the Lone Star State for information, truth, and transparency. What you will not hear is an ounce of truth as to what really took place. After the recording, I'll share with you the real story in those fine people's own words. Pay close attention to certain claims you're going to hear this imposter make. Number one, Turner states in this recording he received a letter from the leaders or elected officials in Texas, and that they've decided they will not abide by laws passed by his Congress. 2, he claims they cannot be in the Republic for the United States of America if they do not abide by the laws of the land. Therefore, the leadership of Texas has been removed from the Republic, and that is final, irreversible, period, forever. 3, he says those elected officials are placed on a list and will not be allowed to ever re-enter their own country. 4, he claims it is required in order to remove yourself as a state from the Union, his Union. You have to have the support of 75% of the population of that state to do it. What about the fact that he's claiming to be the president of this nation after having been appointed, not elected, since there were no other candidates, by under 500 people scattered across the nation? I was on that call that night. I know what took place. I voted. Oh well, never mind. Just like in Washington, apparently he who declares himself the ruler is above the rules. Let's move on. Number 5, he claims to stand on the law. What law? His law? Number 6, he proceeds to spout totally twisted and convenient interpretation of our nation's history. This, at least, is consistent with his dictatorial control over people from the beginning. Number 7, he then claims Texas proclaimed they were not going to abide by the laws that more than 42 states came together and passed in Utah. I do have to point out here that there were only 34 to 36 states in attendance at that dog and pony show, and that all the states present signed 5 pieces of paper, blank paper, no headers, no footers, no numbers, nothing to indicate what Turner and Company might attach them to. These people simply assumed their signatures would be attached to the documents they worked on there under blind and obviously now misguided faith. Number 8, Turner claimed he tried to reason with Texas, gave them many opportunities to see things his way, but they refused. He claimed they wanted to be let go. He claims they breached some implied contract they had with his union. 9, then it is claimed a number of attempts were made to give Texas the opportunity to read the secret Utah document known as the Declaration of Sovereign Intent. This is the document Turner claims is the law of the land. Intent doesn't any dictionary I'm aware of, in any dictionary, the word intent certainly does not hold the meaning of law. 10, then Turner lies his head off, claiming he gave them a chance to see the document, but they refused. 11, then Turner admits he is willing to do what he has repeatedly claimed over the past 2 years that he has never done, but has in fact done on numerous occasions. He will replace the elected officials in Texas. 12, he says he will not tolerate the aggressive behavior of Texas officials. Really? Why? What exactly have they done besides this vague claim that they don't want to play by the rules? 13, now he claims the heat's been turned up on Rusa, etc. He says he has to have 34 states in union. Wait a minute. 5 minutes ago, he claimed over 42. And we have all heard him claim consistently for the past 2 years that he has all 50. Now suddenly he claims there's no lawful standing, after lying over and over and over again to the public in the past that Rusa was a done deal, that he had signed treaties with the corporation, Hillary Clinton, and even the ETs, and yes, I did hear that with my own ears on a national call.
Yep.
He's claimed documents had been filed with The Hague, that funding was there, and on, but now there's nothing. Why are there no voices of outrage heard on this call? Now he claims he needs 35 states. Now he claims just before Rusa would be recognized, the heat would be turned up in the boo game. This, if you've never heard it, is a convict term, and it's a game he's been playing from the start. Then he claims the corporation has been officially notified they will not be funded. By the way, just check out Ben Fulford's claims from the week before this call, and you'll see where he got that. So they've been notified they're not going to be funded anymore. and that the funding will come to his group. Here we go again, with the never-ending promise of money to the desperate.
Funding scams.
Yes. Standing? Ladies and gentlemen, standing is just another word for permission. We are Americans, a free and independent people. We need no permission from any man, organization, or government to be so. Our rights are unalienable and endowed by our Creator. Not a corporate government, not a con man using an alias, no foreign organization, or any other human being. Number 14. Oh, now again he claims those who ask for answers are agents from within to cause problems. Now again he claims 34 states. Number 16. Says he must have documents to prove the 34 states, or they are done. Again, he starts with the fear factor, and the only thing he's right about is we are indeed out of time. But it is his efforts which has afforded the corporation, in part, to get us into a position of helplessness in the first place. Number 17. He says he's getting mails about an alleged effort to not be accountable for money received from the national government. Excuse me? De jure? Our republic is not set up for a national government to fund the states. It is exactly the other way around. And that is exactly what got us in this trouble to start with. The truth is, many states have refused to allow Turner's silly national thug operation to give them money if and when they have it. The states are saying, we are not for sale. So we will go to a commercial now, and when we come back, I will play that recording. And after that, I will share the truth of exactly what happened in Texas in those people's own words.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
Welcome back, Freedomizers. This is Diatra with Freedom Reigns, and I am actually, Terry, having a difficult time finding that clip. I saw it a little bit ago, and I'm going to look again and see where it's at here.
Well, let me fill in a little bit of time if you have got it here.
Yes.
While she looks, our present situation, as was presented to me, the de facto is going to collapse, and I've known it was going to collapse since sometime when I was a teenager, because it was designed to collapse and take our government with it. And so we were told, we're not taking control of anything. We're not attacking the de facto. We're not taking control of anything. We're just going to be here when the de facto falls. And we know it'll come apart one way or the other. Now, the longer I stayed with it, all of a sudden I began to smell different things where somebody could say, all these different riots, we can blame you with sedition and nasty penalties and treason. But we were told basically we were going to be here after the de facto fell. All I know is that if I list out everything they said they were going to do, the only thing that I've seen them do is, yes, they did seat a replacement de jure government to be there when the de facto fell, and I'll give them credit for that. They've got a lot of good people together, and they did create some websites. So this is what I'm saying is that now these folks who know their legal stuff and lawful stuff much more than I can fill you in on a lot more, but all I know is it just didn't work. It was never what it was advertised to be.
Hey, Jim, I have found that recording, so I'd like to go ahead and get it started. Again, for anyone who was listening, this is the recording with the self-proclaimed President of the United States, Tim Turner. Again, it's approximately, it says 34 minutes. I'm going to try to cut it off about 26 minutes. Let's go ahead and begin that.
Thank you.
President Turner, I want to welcome you to the call, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to address the members. The floor is yours, sir.